All right, this lesson is on functional specifications. The functional specification document enables us to clearly detail the features and functions of a site in order to be effective for its target users. It's a list of what the site will do as opposed to how it will be done. Okay, so what this means basically is that a website has certain functions, certain features, certain things that it's able to do. You don't necessarily promise a client how you're going to do something. You're just going to let them know what features or functions it's going to have, what it's going to be able to do, but not necessarily how you're going to do it. And the reason is because as you explore and as you research and as you just experiment and as people suggest things and as you look at other examples of websites, you're going to have a clearer indication of how you're going to do something so that it performs a function that you want, but in the best way possible. Okay? All right, so we're going to move on. So what does it help do? It helps define the scope of the project for the designer. Everything that you list, it helps the designer understand what it is that's going to be needed for this project. If a website has to be able to do X, Y, and Z, then it allows the designer to understand the workload or how much work is going to have to go into it. Okay? So the functional specification documents will itemize each feature to be included in the site and will therefore be an important tool when estimating design costs. Okay, so once you have a list of all the things that you want it to do, then you'll know how much time this might require of you, how much manpower you're going to need, and then also how much this is going to cost for the client. Moving forward, it helps define the scope of the project for the client also. So the functional specifications document will clarify exactly what will be included in the site. When you agree upon it with your client, there will be no confusion as to what is expected in the final deliverables. So if you tell a client, hey, this website is going to have the functionality to do this, this, and that, and you agree that it's going to have that, and then you come to an agreement about how much time it's going to take and how much it's going to cost. At the end, there's no, oh, you promised me this and you didn't deliver that to me. Well, in functional specifications, it's very clear. It's part of the list. It's part of all your client documentation that you were going to deliver that particular function. Okay. Now, again, the function is not how it's going to be done. It's just the function that it's going to perform. How exactly it will be done will be more fluid, and you'll be able to come up with that as your experimentations and your designs evolve. Okay. So new functionality can still be introduced mid-project, but typically with a justifiable adjustment to costs. So this way, if you have everything written down on the functions that it's going to have, and the client all of a sudden wants to add another feature like a gallery or downloadable PDFs or something else, then you know, and you go and you look at the list and you say, hey, this wasn't on the original functionalities, so this is going to cost more. Okay. The functionality specification, it streamlines the development process. By creating a functional specification document, it gives both the client and the designer an opportunity to consider the functional details of a site at the appropriate time. This helps to keep the creative process moving forward efficiently. Okay, so this document is meant for everyone to come together, to look it over, to agree that what's on there is what they want and what's feasible, and that everybody comes to that understanding. Okay. So examples of features and functionalities. The search function, that's probably one of the most important functionality. You shouldn't forget this one on your website or on your features and functionalities list. The search function, the ability to go to any site and not have to kind of try to figure out the organization of it and just be able to do a search. Like say that you're looking for a certain form, or say that you're looking for a certain topic or page, then you could easily just type in the search function and it'll pop something up. Okay. User login and sign up. These are for sites that you frequently visit, emails or shopping websites, things like that. Shopping cart, this doesn't apply to the first project, but it does apply to the second project. The shopping cart, okay, that's a feature, the ability to shop within a website. Persistent booking, a reservation button. If you have these buttons that always follow you so that you can always reserve or always purchase, User-driven star rating system. These are just, those little areas where you can rate an object, like either when you purchase something or if you've watched something like a movie, the ability to do that. Some websites will need that, others won't. Right? Downloadable PDFs. Say that you go to a restaurant website and you want to give them the menu online, but you also want to be able to have them download it so that they could print it or route it in the office or whatever. Interactive map. Sometimes you need an interactive map, in particular if it's something that's a little difficult to navigate or to get to. Interactive map might be another feature. A slideshow is considered a feature. A video is also considered a feature. A social media link. So these are just some of the examples, okay? All right, so an example of the list, we take a look at it here. This is the page that you guys will be designing, your features and functionalities page. See search option, dedicated web page for past exhibition with photos, user sign up, login and sign up for members, membership sign up forms, downloadable PDFs, interactive map, links to social media sites, user-friendly interface, easy navigation. So it kind of goes out and lays out these features and functionalities, and that's what you guys are going to be doing for that particular lecture, okay? The other one is the sitemap. So if we go ahead and take a look at this one, a sitemap serves as a centralized planning tool that will help organize and clarify the content of the site. Okay, so what that means is that this sitemap will help you figure out the organization of how the site is going to be structured and its pages. It's a page-by-page visual representation of the content of a site. So here's an example, okay? So this is your website, and we usually just call that the home, kind of like where you land, okay? And from there branches out different pages that you can access. So if we go here, it'll link out, and this will be like your main navigation, your main pages that from the home page you can access, okay? So this is usually like your navigation here. Okay, and usually these pages are between 5 to 6 pages, pretty average. That's what you want to have. Sometimes you can go with 7. You don't want to do too many main navigation because then it just becomes cumbersome. Okay, so exhibition page. When you create a separate page like this, it means that from this home page, when you click on the exhibitions page, it's going to create its own separate page. Okay. Same thing, from the home page, we would be able to access the events button and it would take us to our own separate page. So there's going to be content on this page. Okay, this one is access and admission, become a member. This will branch you out to the blog. This is about ma'am, and then this is about contact. Okay, so now just to look at some of these so that you understand what these pages mean. If something like this goes through the line here, okay, through the line here, it means when there's a line going straight down like this, it means that these 2 pages here can only be accessed from this exhibitions page, okay? So these pages here, they are not content that's in this exhibitions page. This means that within this page, you have the opportunity to link to these 2 different pages. They're on the same level. They would be like, if this was a web page, they would have one option here and another option right down here, one for the MAM project and one for the past exhibitions. So like 2 buttons, each one would link you out to a separate page, okay? So anytime you have a new box, it means it's a separate page. It doesn't mean that it's content on this page. It's pages that link out from this exhibitions page onto its separate page, okay? So these 2 pages here can only be accessed once you're inside the exhibition page. These 2 cannot be accessed from the main home page, okay? That's why they're within this little branching here. And these past exhibition pages here can only be accessed once you're inside the exhibitions and you've clicked into the past exhibitions and see the line through here. So you can only access it through this page. That's what it's telling you. And when they're stacked like this, this indicates that they're similar pages. So say that you have a past exhibition and all the information on it is organized very similar to another past exhibition and then another past exhibition. So maybe this one was in 2002, this one was in 2003, this one is in 2004. But basically they're all past exhibitions and they all have similar information and organization. So instead of like listing every single one, we just stack them and then you list the title of at least one of them so you get an idea and a sense of what else these other pages might be like. Okay, now here you have this page that has a little folded corner here. These are downloadable. This is how you denote that something is a downloadable like map or a downloadable PDF. Okay, so that's the page. Okay, and again, this one can only be accessed from within this MAM. That's why it goes through and it opens up into its own separate page. So they would be in here and they would have access to this, like a little button here that would say facility map. They'd click on it and it would link you out to this facility map page that's downloadable to a PDF. Okay? So just to be clear, you only create boxes when it's an actual separate page. Now this page in here, the exhibitions page, may have content on it in here that's different from these pages that branch out. It might have current exhibitions and directions and things like that. But that goes in here. You do not have to list it anywhere. If it helps you keep it organized and you want to list your current exhibition, you can, but it's not necessary. Okay. Same thing for events. Just because you have October events, you have November events, you have September events in this page doesn't mean you have to list that in here. And you definitely don't want to create separate pages for them unless they branch out into their own page. So only create a box when in your mind you're going to create a separate page for it. Okay, in your design. All right. So some of that information I went through here, I'm going to go back over. Okay, so it gives the client and designer a better understanding of the width of the site and the depth of the site. So how many pages are there, kind of branching out as your options. That's, if we go back like this way, the width of the site, and then how many pages deep is it also. Okay, so the depth of the site. What it looks like is up to you. So you can make up your own little keys. Like I said, if you want to go in there and put a little bit more explanation in yours, that's fine if that helps you. But here are some pretty standard things, and we went over these just a minute ago, okay? A single page, this is when something just branches out into a single page. Pages like the similar exhibition pages that we went over, if the content is very similar in layout or structure, or the content that it has, you can just stack them like this. And then a PDF or another document that it links out to. You would have the folded corner. It could be upright or sideways, up to you. Okay. A sitemap offers a time and a place to determine the naming of the sections. So about, or do you want to name it who are we, or our story. All of these mean the same thing. But at the time of your sitemap, you can start thinking about how are you going to name these pages? How are you going to title them? And just to kind of get a sense for if all your different pages are going to be kind of written consistently in the same type of language. And we'll take a look at that, and I'll be looking at that as well. Okay. Do a test to see if all the expected content will fit neatly into sections. So a lot of times you'll start looking at the content and you'll start realizing, oh man, I need a new page for that. Oh, this doesn't really go under this section and doesn't all go under this other section. So it's a nice place to figure out if things start organizing correctly. All right, so here are some more examples of sitemaps. So you can kind of see how other people could organize these pages. Again, this would be a separate page. This is a separate page. This is a separate page. This is a separate page, separate page, separate page. These are like your main navigation. And then within the project page, you can access these two other pages. Okay. Within the media page, you can access these two other pages. All right. There we go. Different ways. Some people like to organize them sideways. Okay. And that's fine too. As long as you know, like, that here from this page, you can access this page, and this page. Because of the way that the line is here, I know I can, from this page, I can access a button to here, I can access to here, and I can access to here. Okay, so all of these three pages are accessible from here just based on the fact that this went around. If it would have gone through here, like a line like this, if there would have been a line here, here, and here, then it would tell me for me to get to the staff page, I have to click on this page. Then I have to get to the staff, and then to get to confidentiality, I would only be able to access it from this page. But because it's not going through here, and instead it's going around, it means that all of these pages, all these three pages are accessible from this main page. Okay, so that's the difference in the lines. All right, here's some more. So that's it. So you can just take a look at some of those examples. All right, and we'll go over these. They're going to be a little bit confusing. Sometimes you're not going to know whether or not you want to open up a new page, or some things are going to be kind of redundant, and that's why we're going to meet during a Skype session to determine whether or not what you're intending on doing is actually reflected in your sitemap. Alright, so don't forget to turn in your sitemap and functional specs and also to book your Skype session. This concludes your lesson.